Hey there, and welcome back. This is episode 280. In episode 276, just this week, we talked about morning rituals and the difference one can make on your entire day. We talked about the difference between a routine and a ritual, and I gave a few ideas on how to structure your potential new ritual. And as I started reading more about the routines and rituals of well-known personalities, I noticed that sometimes their routines also serve as rituals. And I found this interesting. A well-established daily structure allowed these successful people to maintain focus on their work, keep distractions at bay, and produce high-quality work. The morning ritual can be a primer for a productive day, but it can also be your productive day. A lot of writers write during the morning because it's their most productive time. I actually do the same on weekends. I like to get up and get my coffee and then spend the morning writing my episodes. Ernest Hemingway wrote about his routine. When I'm working on a book or a story, I write every morning as soon after first light as possible. There is no one to disturb you, and it's cool or cold, and you come to your work and warm as you write. You read what you have written, and as you always stop when you know what's going to happen next, you go on from there. You write until you come to a place where you still have your juice and know what will happen next, and you stop and try to live through until the next day when you hit it again. You have started at 6 a.m, say, and may go on until noon or be through before that. When you stop as you are empty and at the same time never empty but filling, as when you have made love to someone you love. Nothing can hurt you. Nothing can happen. Nothing means anything until the next day when you do it again. It is in the wait until the next day that is hard to get through. I've talked on this podcast about willpower. Your mind is fresh in the morning and hasn't had yet that many decisions to make. For many people, that means that they are most creative, productive, and efficient in the morning. As you experiment with your morning routine, figure out what fits most. Maybe your most creative work is best done first thing in the morning. That blog that you want to start, that business proposal you can't seem to find time to write. If you find yourself not getting things done that you are dreaming about, maybe getting up an hour earlier will do it. This could be a workout, your poetry writing, or the instrument that you want to learn. Doing something you love and that makes you feel good can be a ritual. You walk away refreshed, balanced, and feeling accomplished. Knowing you have already done one of the things that matter most to you can give you more calm and patience for the more tedious things that still await you. Maya Angelou, American author and poet best known for her series of 7 autobiographies, which began in 1969 with I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, had a very interesting ritual that she described as follows. I usually get up at about 5:30 and I'm ready to have coffee by 6, usually with my husband. He goes off to his work around 6:30 and I go off to mine. I keep a hotel room in which I do my work. A tiny, mean room with just a bed and sometimes, if I can find it, a face basin. I keep a dictionary, a Bible, a deck of cards, and a bottle of sherry in the room. I try to get there around 7 and I work until 2 in the afternoon. If the work is going badly, I stay until 12:30. If it's going well, I stay as long as it's going well. It's lonely, and it's marvelous. I edit while I'm working. When I come home at 2, I read over what I've written that day, and then try to put it out of my mind. I shower, prepare dinner, so that when my husband comes home, I'm not totally absorbed in my work. We have a semblance of a normal life. We have a drink together and have dinner. Maybe after dinner, I read to him what I've written that day. He doesn't comment. I don't invite comments from anyone but my editor. But hearing it aloud is good. Sometimes I hear the dissonance. Then I try to straighten it out in the morning. When the morning is structured, it appears that the rest of the day also follows a certain pattern for these people. Kurt Vonnegut recorded his daily routine in a letter to his wife in 1965. In an unmoored life like mine, sleep and hunger and work arrange themselves to suit themselves without consulting me. I'm just as glad they haven't consulted me about the tiresome details. What they have worked out is this. I awake at 5:30, work until 8, eat breakfast at home, work until 10, walk a few blocks into town, do errands, go to the nearby municipal swimming pool, which I have all to myself, and swim for half an hour. Return home at 11:45, read the mail, eat lunch at noon. In the afternoon, I do schoolwork, either teach or prepare. When I get home from school at about 5:30, I numb my twanging intellect with several belts of scotch and water. $5 at the state liquor store, the only liquor store in town. There are lots of bars though. Cook supper, read and listen to jazz, lots of good music on the radio here. Slip off to sleep at 10. I do push-ups and sit-ups all the time and feel as though I'm getting lean and sinewy, but maybe not. Last night, time and my body decided to take me to the movies. I saw The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which I took very hard. To an unmoored, middle-aged man like myself, it was heartbreaking. That's all right. I like to have my heart broken. Do you notice a pattern? Do you see how these writers focus on the work in the early parts of the day and then let loose and relax in the evening once work is done? Now I realize most of us are probably not writers with the luxury to design our entire day the way we want. We have schedules to follow and times we have to stick to, but we can learn from them. Early mornings have magic in them. I wrote a blog post last year about this magic. It's on my website. They are quiet and they are free of appointments, phone calls and places we have to go. We can have the mornings to ourselves. And by establishing a morning ritual, we indirectly introduce organization into our day. We prioritize ourselves. We acknowledge that it is first and foremost about us, how we feel, how we think, and how we show up for the day. And when we have taken care of our inner selves, then we can be the best we need to be in our work and our relationships with others. Tony Robbins calls this priming for the day. In the book Tools of Titans, Tim Ferriss writes about Tony's priming practices. Upon waking, Tony immediately goes into his priming routine, which is intended to produce a rapid change in his physiology. To me, if you want a prime-time life, you've got to prime daily. There are many tools that I've seen Tony use over the years, several of which I've adopted for myself, including cold water plunge. I use a quick cold shower, which could be just 30 to 60 seconds. Tony follows this with breathing exercises. He does 3 sets of 30 reps. His seated technique is similar to the rapid nasal breath of fire in yoga, but he adds a rapid overhead extension of the arms on the inhale with the elbow dropping down the rib cage on the exhale. Alternative, breath walking. This is vintage Tony, but I still use it quite often when traveling. Simply walk for a few minutes, using a breathing cycle of 4 short inhales through the nose and then 4 short exhales through the mouth. Following something like debuff, Tony does 9 to 10 minutes of what some might consider meditation. To him, however, the objective is very different. It's about cueing and prompting enabling emotions for the rest of the day. His 9 to 10 minutes are broken into thirds. Here is an abbreviated synopsis. The first 3 minutes, feeling totally grateful for 3 things. I make sure that one of them is very, very simple. The wind on my face, the reflection of the clouds that I just saw. But I don't just think gratitude. I let gratitude fill my soul, because when you're grateful, we all know there's no anger. It's impossible to be angry and grateful simultaneously. When you're grateful, there's no fear. You can't be fearful and grateful simultaneously. The second 3 minutes, total focus on feeling the presence of God, if you will, However, you want to language that for yourself. But this is inner presence coming in and feeling it heal everything in my body, in my mind, and my emotions, my relationships, my finances. I see it as solving anything that needs to be solved. I experience the strengthening of my gratitude, of my conviction, of my passion. The last 3 minutes, focusing on 3 things that I'm going to make happen, my 3 to thrive. See it as though it's already been done, feel the emotions, etc. And as I've always said, there's no excuse not to do 10 minutes. If you don't have 10 minutes, you don't have a life. So maybe some of these examples inspired you, and you begin your own morning ritual or routine. Whether it's a practice that helps you relax and ease into a hectic day, or it's actually doing the most important work early in the day, I encourage you, think about how you can make your day better. Better meaning more fulfilled, more productive, and filled with things that you are proud to look back on. Whether it's a ritual or a routine, either can help you with it. Just think about it. Be deliberate about it. Establish it and then follow it. And as always, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Much love.